Salutations, everybody. This is Ra. Um, Sorry about last week. I didn't do a video. But this week I'm back and back for another episode of WWE 2K ideas. Ideas I'd like to see implemented in the next WWE game, which should be WWE 2K17. Now, a few things have surfaced regarding 2K17. There have been rumors that thus far are going to have one legend in the game. And that being Tatanka. I don't really know how I feel about that. Um, it elicits an emotion of, oh, okay. It's like, all right, not really excited about that. And another suggested bonus character would be Shaquille O'Neal. As you all have noticed, every celebrities have had a bigger presence in video, not just WWE games, but in video games in general in recent years. Like the UFC games have had Bruce Lee in the first UFC title, and then this game they had Bruce Lee as well as Mike Tyson. And it's funny because Mike Tyson was also in the WWE game. He was in WWE 13 as a bonus character. And it was pretty much the promotional character. And then, last year's had the Terminator. So, Shaq, it'd be interesting. I don't know what how that would work, but it'd be pretty interesting, I suppose, to see Shaq in the game. Um, but this week, my idea involves the story mode or the Road to WrestleMania mode, or what have you. My idea was the idea and concept of paths, and basically instead of a Road to WrestleMania or showcase mode, which in all honesty, I think that's what they're going to go with. Probably for Daniel Bryan, being that he just retired. Um, they'll probably do Daniel Bryan or somebody like that. Or even the four horsewomen, the divas, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Bayley. But I also want to say some other things that had surfaced with the game's images. Have concept images and renders have surfaced of Brock Lesnar, Sasha Banks, The Rock, John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose, and even Charlotte with the new WWE Women's Championship. And I must say, if these graphics are to be believed, as pretty much a sign of things to come for the roster, the way they're going to actually look, they have stepped their game up majorly. You will have to see them. Um, and it's on the WWE 2K17 Facebook page. But the images look pretty spectacular. I mean, Roman Reigns looks a lot more like him. The Rock looks a lot more like him. And one thing that really struck me was Brock Lesnar's like face and his whole just sculpt was more authentic. It just doesn't look like a big barrel-chested wrestler from like Bruno Sammartino's time or anything like that, like it did in the previous games. So that's one thing that surfaced as well. But the concept of paths that I've come up with was basically to have a more true to life story mode. Let our superstars have a path where you have a superstar who starts from the ground up, and their path is they have to really deal with a lot of stuff from the fans, like Roman Reigns has. Somebody who doesn't have a wrestling who does have a wrestling background and has to overcome a lot of trying to get the fans to win over the fans because they were pretty much born into the business, and they don't have a lot of character and stuff like that, and they have their path is gaining title shots. I mean, pretty much a quasi Roman Reigns story. Somebody that fits the mold and isn't a fan favorite because they're not the most technically sound wrestler or anything like that. And then you could have a path of a wrestler who started off on the indies, and they could have like a fake version of the indies on the game. And it could be the wrestler starts off, on the indie circuit and has to work their way up to, WWE and, starts up in NXT, and then makes their way to the main roster and eventually WrestleMania. Um, and then you have another path where something that's never been done before, a wrestler. Actually, they've done this in a previous game with the Intercontinental Championship. I think it was the Jacob Cash storyline from, I think it was WWE 12, where they had the wrestlers start off and go for their Intercontinental Championship, and he's a plant as a fan in the audience, kind of like what Santino Morello did before the game. But have different paths. The path of the person who starts on the Indies and has to work their way up to NXT. You have the wrestler who starts off, as a member of a wrestling family. You can have, and then you can have like, different accomplishments, like beat Ric Flair's championship, streak or whatnot. I mean, his record, how many titles he had. You could have somebody have the accomplishment of defeating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. You could have the accomplishment of, being Roman Reigns' elimination record at the Royal Rumble. Make it fun. Have a little accomplishments like that the person could accomplish. And I thought that these paths would be pretty cool, so different storyline paths. A person that starts off on the Indies, makes their way to WWE. The person that you can even have a path for somebody that is straight up from WWE. WWE starts at the Performance Center, kind of like what we've been getting, but it doesn't always have to be the linear storyline of somebody that starts off in a Performance Center, works their way to WrestleMania, and goes into the Hall of Fame. That's just been too linear of a storyline that we've had to bear with in the past few games. That career mode has never been, a steal. So I was suggesting maybe the path storyline, have somebody that's the indie favorite and, have that storyline, have a storyline where a person goes through different motions with gimmicks to get over and try to get over with the fans. You can have that storyline. You can have the indie darling storyline. You can have the storyline of the guy who is the manufacturer company guy and has to win over the fans. So I just thought it'd be cool to have more true to life storylines, like the guy who, like what's going on in real life. A person nowadays goes through several different gimmick changes before they finally get over. They have to cope with some of the things that are said on them online, and have it brought to their attention and try to do what the fans want them to do, and face fans verbally on Twitter and things like that. I mean, WWE could do they could do a lot of things with the story mode, but this is just my suggestion. So in conclusion, different paths for story mode. Basically, 4 different paths of the person that authentic what's going on nowadays has to get over with different gimmicks. The person who starts off in the indies, the company guy who has to try to get over with the fans against all odds, and the typical what they've been doing the past few years for career mode, where the person starts off in the Performance Center and has to learn everything like from the ground up, and it could be almost like a Cell storyline. If you all follow Dragon Ball Z, that Cell pretty much could learn every move of anybody he's ever competed against, and actually had the cells of all the Z Warriors. But you could do something like, okay, this storyline involves this person starting off in a Performance Center, and then everybody, I think they already even done this, like I never really got into career mode because it's just too lengthy and too tedious. I think they already kind of do it where it's like, okay, you fight John Cena and you unlock his move set, so now you can implement, add his moves to your arsenal and things like that. Or no, actually make that a part of the storyline. Like this story path, this person starts off in a Performance Center and he's like Cell. He faces John Cena, and in that match he uses John Cena's moves against him. He's like a Cell version, a DBZ version, a WWE version of the character Cell from Dragon Ball Z. So that's just my suggestion. Let me know what you all think, and thanks for watching.